Hello and welcome back to Digital Assets Daily. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in your corner of the world. The judge okays discovery extension that poses existential threat to Ripple's business. The court has granted the SEC's request to extend the discovery deadline to October, despite Ripple claiming that it would cause tremendous prejudice to its business. I'm going to follow that with the Gensler agenda. It's wanting the SEC to look back rather than ahead, say the commissioners. Securities and Exchange Commissioners, SEC, Esther Pierce, and Elad Roisman are advocating the agency spend fewer resources on overhauling existing rules and more energy on crafting regulation for emerging areas, including digital assets. Though Pierce previously said she anticipated a Gensler-led SEC would create a productive few years for crypto. She and her colleagues expressed concern over whether that will come to pass. In a statement responding to Chair Gary Gensler's agenda for his time in office, Pierce and Roisman pointed out emerging issues they felt were notably absent, stating while there are important and timely items on the list, including rules related to transfer agents and government securities alternative trading systems, the agenda is missing some other important rulemakings, including rules to provide clarity for digital assets, allow companies to compensate gig workers with equity, and revisit proxy plumbing, they said in a statement. And my statement towards this is, it didn't take very much common sense to follow to see where Gensler was going to land. As I stated before he was even placed, there was no way he was going to push the Ripple/XRP through with clarity, as he had stated many times that he felt XRP was a security. And we had shared that many times on Twitter with a lot of great clarity. And he ended up being exactly what we thought he did. So we were kind of confused at why the Ripple executives were even excited that he was going to take over the SEC, because there was nothing showing that he would be anything other than what he is. And with the SEC there stating to be a protector of the investor, they're doing exactly the opposite at this time. With the Ripple XRP lawsuit and not having that fade away and offer the great clarity that they've been searching for from day one, unlike many other assets, Ripple has followed the guidelines as best as possible. Also, too, going into Emtech, CEO Carmel Cadet testifies before U.S. House of Representatives on the future of blockchain and central bank digital currency. Cadet is a leading global fintech innovator and provides expertise on how the U.S. can revolutionize its financial market infrastructure with an inclusive, modern, and resilient digital cash infrastructure for all. So a first-of-its-kind fintech for central banks announced today that CEO Camilla Cadet has been selected to provide testimony about digitizing the U.S. dollar with the blockchain tech to the U.S. House of Representatives Committee on Financial Services and Task Force on Financial Technology, recognized as the leading voice in the fintech space for broad innovation at the central banking level. So backed by a team of innovators and formal central bankers, Cadet has a history in technology and finance combined with expertise in banking, blockchain, and cryptocurrency. Her testimony before the House committee draws on her work with other central banks as Emtech CEO, so as well as more than 10 years at IBM, including IBM Blockchain Finance Services. And stating the era of central bank innovation is here, the use of DLT, distributed ledger technologies, which is blockchain, application programming interface, the APIs, and data analytics offer central banks new tools to be effective regulators and collaborators in innovation. So I think that's going to get very exciting very fast. So millennial millionaires have a large share of their wealth in crypto, the CNBC survey says, and nearly half of millennial millionaires have at least 25% of their wealth in cryptocurrencies, according to the CNBC Millionaire Survey. Coinbase is reportedly setting up shop in New York City. So, San Francisco based Coinbase is subleasing 30,000 square feet from Stephen A. Cohen's Point 72 Asset Management. The office space is located in the Hudson Yards neighborhood on the west side of Midtown Manhattan. And crypto is the next step towards a cashless society, and it will take some time for consumers to warm up to crypto, but education is the key to its mass adoption. So, from the QR code payments to mobile banking apps, consumers worldwide are increasingly relying on digital payment solutions, especially as mobile tech becomes more ubiquitous. And the government-led efforts in driving cashless economies has been a key factor, with countries such as Singapore or the Philippines seeing their central banks driving the adoption of contactless payments during the height of the issue at hand, and as a result, usage rates for digital payments platforms have recorded promising growth, even as high as 5,000% in the Philippines alone. The Fed is exploring once-in-a-century bid to remake the U.S. dollar. So the rise of private cryptocurrencies motivated the Fed to start considering a digital dollar to be used alongside the traditional paper currency. The Federal Reserve is taking what may be the first significant step towards launching its own virtual currency, in a move that could shake up banks, give millions of low-income Americans access to the financial system, and fortify the dollar's status as the world's reserve currency. So the idea of creating a fully digital version of the US dollar, which was unthinkable just a few years ago, has gained bipartisan interest from lawmakers as diverse as Senators Elizabeth Warren and John Kennedy. And because of its potential benefits for consumers who don't have bank accounts, but it's also sparking strong pushback from those with the most to lose, which are the banks. Now, Texas state regulator greenlights banks to custody crypto, and a June 10 notice from the Texas Department of Banking told state-chartered banks they can now work with crypto companies. Also, too, Governor Bailey, encouraged by progress around critical innovation of CBDC, and I like sharing this because, as the last article stated clearly, that it wasn't long ago, this was not really a discussion, as the Fed stated, and then now the CBDC is becoming common talk. So at the launch of the Bank for International Settlements, the BIS, fourth innovation hub in London, Governor Andrew Bailey expressed positivity around the work currently being carried out by the Bank of England on central bank digital currencies. Also, do want to finish up with Stellar. Digital dollars are a financial tool for everyone. So the SDF Senior Director Ecosystem, Lisa Nestor, told Payments in a recent conversation that the digital asset space will be large and will be home to a myriad of players. Bitcoin, stablecoins, Dogecoin, and others can all exist in a single interoperable network to elevate all forms of value and create an inclusive financial system. And we're beginning to see that even as far down as she mentioned Doge. We've already seen assets like Kishu can now buy real estate, and sticking with the meme coin theme, now you can have assets like Shiba buying silver and gold. And I think it's going to continue to get exciting, and the great assets like Stellar, which can be inclusive to all other assets for currencies, I think will continue to grow in this space. And assets like XRP, once they get the clarity through all of this frivolous and at this point reckless lawsuit from the SEC, which is hurting the investors a great deal for whatever personal agenda is being held out there. I think once we've moved beyond that, then it can shine as it's designed to move in the wholesale, the enterprise, the institutional market, and move all the value. And remember, this is not financial advice. It's for entertainment purposes only. Before we go, I want to leave you with a final thought. The ones who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are are the ones that do. Much love to our VIP on Patreon, Surfmeister, and to each and every one of you that like and subscribe, and we will catch you in the next one.